Hello everybody, so we're live again tonight. I got stuff in my way and we're going to be working with some 3D coolant. I'll be chilling in Discord if you guys want to come. I can link that in the chats for you really quick if you would like. But I'll be chilling in here. If you guys have some questions about 3D coolants tonight, we're going to be cleaning them out of a loop. So that should be kind of fun because, maybe not fun, but at least interesting for some of you guys. Because I know a lot of people do get interested in 3D coolants these days, and my YouTube chat isn't working. But they all have a chance at not working out in your loop. I can say that pretty confidently for any of you starting out, especially if it's your first time with water cooling, that you just got to watch out, because at any point in time you could have an issue with this stuff. It can fall out, it can get stuck in some bad places in your loop, and just so on and so forth. It can be a bad time. I've seen it work out really great for some people and just not so much for others. So I'd just like to help you guys all stay informed with what you need to do if stuff does indeed go wrong for you, because having a bad time with water cooling is not what I like to see. So let's get right to it. I think people might come in Discord in a bit. Which cameras do we want to use? Yes, I think this will be best. So I've already started actually making a video for this for you guys, which we posted to the YouTube once I get it done. But so far, if you guys saw any pictures on social media, I showed that the coolant had kind of fallen out. There was some particles in the block, and I can actually show you guys the block now, if the camera will reach. There is actually a lot less build up in there now. There used to be quite a bit in these bins, you can see there, but now I've been just flushing it as best I can. I drained the 3D coolant out of the loop. It was this 3D white opaque before, or not opaque, it's 3D Starlight White is what it was from UFO. So that was just a test fluid, and I had actually gone into this thinking that it would fall out. And I guess first off, I'd like to explain that it's because of the reservoir. It happened in the other test loop in the Define S that I had going for this. Let me see if this camera's good. Did someone join in Discord? Maybe that's better. Okay, so let's see. I thought I heard someone join. Nope, just hearing things. So what had happened is this reservoir, and just like the one in Define S, it creates a really low flow area in the loop because of the flat spots. You can actually see right here, this is the out and this is the in. So most of the coolant flow is on one side of this thing, and I'm assuming that just the other half of this reservoir just became a huge low flow area, and that's where you can see all the fallout. It's kind of hard to see in the reservoir right now. There's just a little spot of fallout left in there, where you can see particles just sitting right in the very middle. It used to be pretty covered, but flushing it actually got it out quite a bit. So I used Mayhem's Blitz Part 2 for a while on it for the 24 hours or whatever, just to see what it would do. I didn't really think I would blitz it and then just be like, okay, it's time for a new coolant, because it does just need to be taken apart for the most part. Yeah, I don't see very much in the reservoir anymore. However, we're going to drain it now, and we're going to actually start taking this apart. And what I plan on showing you guys is just the block overall, what you'll see after using a 3D coolant that falls out, what happens to the block. And then if anybody did have this happen to them, I would recommend them try the same thing. At least start just by flushing it, just to get out the 3D coolant. I ended up going through 2 gallons of distilled water at this point to get it this far, which isn't bad. I mean, it's like a whole $2. So really, as far as expenditures goes, it's not that expensive to fix when you have this kind of an issue. However, it just does take time. I spent a good few hours just draining this and refilling it and draining it and refilling it, and just letting the distilled flush through and get as much out as I could. And I think it did get quite a bit out. I'm a little bit afraid as what's left in the radiator, but as I showed you guys, the block isn't too bad at all anymore. You could honestly use it like that. I'd be just fine. The pump is going to be my other concern, what's all going on in there. I'm expecting to see some of the particles in there too, just kind of stuck. As far as when this problem actually does happen, I've talked to Daniel from UFO Technologies, the guy who makes this coolant. I've talked to him quite a bit, and he actually, and I mean, I've actually never tested it with actual hardware. However, performance-wise, when this does happen with the coolant, it really doesn't change too much. You do get some particle buildup in some places. I don't believe it really stops all the flow or too much of it necessarily. I'll have to do some further testing on that later, but it's really not like a terrible thing if your coolant does fall out like this. Of course, it's not what you want to happen, but don't get too nervous if it does indeed happen to you. It's a pretty simple fix, just kind of time consuming, and it doesn't always necessarily need to be fixed. So we've gotten it partially drained now, it looks like. So the only problem with draining this loop is I got these magnetic ball valves, and when there's no power to the system, they actually shut the reservoir or the radiator off to the flow, like the ball valves close. So I'm assuming the radiator is still full. So what we're gonna do maybe to try to fix that is I'm gonna unplug the pump from power, and then we're gonna power this thing on, see if we can keep the valves open, and let's see if we can drain this a little bit more. We got a little plug here. So, oh, there are people in Discord. What's up?
Oh, I was just watching you.
Just watching. I swear I thought I heard someone come in, and I'm like, nah, I'm just hearing shit. And now I look back and there are actually people here.
Oh, so good, man. Love what you're doing. You got good camera angles and stuff. It's looking good.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to get this stuff cleaned out. Was the pump still plugged in? It shouldn't be. Maybe, yeah. Okay. So this power supply cord is really freaking finicky. And it doesn't like to stay powered on. And I gotta try to keep it powered on while tipping this guy. So we'll go off this port. I need another arm. Is the pump going? Okay, good. The pump isn't going. Come on, stay powered on, buddy. You can do it. Or not. He really doesn't want to be my friend right now. So that's definitely not everything in the radiator, but we've gotten more out at least. Probably have to tip it backwards, to be honest. But if I can get this other tube drained, it's actually not going to be that bad, and I can just take the radiator out and flush it entirely.
Yeah, draining's a bitch.
I know, especially, well, and the problem is I don't have these ball valves wired up yet, so like I said, it basically just caps the radiator off as soon as there's no power in the system. So that's not very helpful. What's up, Carlos? He's on Facebook. My restream chat wasn't working.
I was on Facebook and I said shish fish.
Yeah, definitely, because it's like way less it's 720p on Facebook. It forces you to that. So there's actually like, I wonder if this was trapped in the radiator, but there's like actually still a good amount of the effect in there. Like you can see it still. So the rad is definitely gonna have to come out with this, I'm thinking, because that's the only place that it really could be at this point. So we'll definitely be taking the rad out, but first we can start on everything else in between. So
what did you test? Did you test some Aurora or some stuff for a long time, or?
Yeah, well, it was just the 3D white, the Cryo-Chillz 3D Starlight White. I had a feeling this was going to happen anyways, just because I've used the 3D coolant in another system where I had a custom res just like this, and the low flow areas that a big custom res like this create just like destroy the coolant.
Or how long did you run it?
This only lasted like a few days before it actually fell out.
What?
Yeah, like I had a feeling this would happen. I don't know how View would survive in this. Supposedly Vue's pretty good with low flow stuff, so maybe Vue's like a better choice for this loop. I'm not really sure. However, I had gone into it completely expecting this to happen anyways. So, get these tubes out. We'll get the CPU block off first, then we can check out how bad that actually is. But like overall, like it really isn't a giant issue. You could honestly just keep flushing this, try to get the radiator more flushed out, and you could probably just throw in another coolant if you really wanted to. It's not like the block is ruined or anything like that. There's just particle buildup. And like I said, like 90% of it was all just in the reservoir, just stuck. Ooh, there was some liquid in there. Good thing I don't boot up this board ever. Or haven't at least.
Did you do this build just for fun, or is that an actual purpose to use it as a test bench?
Yeah, there will be once I have all the parts for it. So I'll be getting the rest of the matching fittings for the CPU loop here this week. So I'll be finishing up the CPU loop. Then I gotta still get CPU, RAM, and a PSU. So I think I got a CPU and RAM lined up. So just gotta get the last of the parts in order.
Yeah, you'll be going hot loop all the way.
Yeah, I am actually, and people like make fun of it because it's a test bench, but I don't know, I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be like another $500 or more to get the GPU loop done. Sadly, I'm gonna be throwing in one of I have an Aquaro here that a friend gave me, so I'll be putting in one of those, and I want to get 2 of the AquaStream pumps instead of just these EK pumps. Well, I actually just have one D5 right now, so I need another one anyways. But that way I can get like flow meter or flow rate stats and everything like that. So
everyone needs one of those.
Exactly, dude. I haven't ever used an Aquaro, and I figured I should, since like it's definitely a big product that we sell. So knowing more about it, that's just a 5XT, but I figure anything at all will be helpful. Just knowing about them more. So it'll be good. It'll be very good. There's still a lot left to do on this bench though. As you can see, it's not even painted yet or anything like that. I'm trying to think of when I should actually like disassemble this entire thing to paint it. It'll definitely be after I get the GPU loop all figured out. Oh man, this fitting likes to do this. So to get this guy out, I'm gonna have to go like this. This one is a pain in the butt. When I try to unscrew the compression fitting, it just unscrews the whole fitting, which isn't helpful because that's gonna crush the tube. So the next stream will probably be, let's see, I plan on getting a bunch of sleeving supplies so I can sleeve these switches properly or the magnetic ball valves here to a switch. And then this will be working a lot better as far as how I wanted it to look. And this thing is just gonna have to unscrew. Because I don't know if have you stopped in to see this build at all before this stream? I didn't see who was talking actually. Was it ZPNK?
The food's still in the fridge.
Oh, it's Roger. What's up, man? How's it going, dude?
It's good.
It's good. Yeah. So I don't know if you know about like the whole pass-through thing with the quick disconnect up front. Cause like I don't know if you can see the back of them. There goes something or other. I don't know what that was. Oh, I think it was the tape. But that's just so I can hook up a radiator. I guess if anybody else watching doesn't know what this is all about, this is just so I can hook up a radiator externally, and then with these ball valves that cut off the flow to the internal radiator, they're wired up. They'll be wired up to this switch up here. So you flip that, you connect your rad, and then I could actually properly just test another rad separate from the rad and the loop, and get like performance for it. I could just use the CPU or the GPU to test it. Its thermal performance, its flow rate, and everything. Ideally, once I get some AquaStream pumps in there, it can be tested in a bunch of different ways. So, yeah, this guy doesn't want to come up. And actually, like, the fittings don't look too bad as far as fallout being stuck in them. I think these ones have a little bit.
How are you going to do with the O-rings?
So these are the Monsoon EV2 fittings, and they actually don't necessarily have O-rings. They're just these plastic, almost like a washer, that compresses on the tube, and they actually look perfectly fine. But there is like a tad bit of stuff in there, so I'm going to be washing out all the fittings. Actually, where did I put my little bucket? Here I have a little measuring glass. So yeah, actually there's some, you can see some stuff right there. Even like this stuff will wipe off. So everything's gonna have to be cleaned. Those are actually gonna be replaced matte black fittings anyways. But I plan on stripping this all down. However far we get today, we'll see. That still has liquid in it. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. Let's see if we can get that out. I don't want that all over. Oh my gosh, I can't put it in without holding the back. No, so I don't know. I was kind of stressing my post earlier today, and it still resulted in a little bit of an argument. For people, like, it's super like polarized as far as the 3D coolant market goes. Like, either people are just totally for UFO or people are totally for view, and that's like not at all what I'm trying to show with this content that I'm making on this stuff. I'm just kind of trying to show in general what you should do. I guess more specifically, if UFO fails on you, this probably applies even more, but overall, I wasn't trying to like say one brand was or is going to fail more often than the other. It's just more or less what to do if you do come into issues. So I hope anybody watching is taking that with a grain of salt. How is the chats doing? It's tough to watch with all three. What's up, Rob? Sounds rad. Are you trying to Ross after this? Maybe, dude. Maybe we can. I'll probably be down. Nobody's chatting on the YouTubes. I was just wondering, should I be worried about using a coolant like this with aluminum components like EK Fluid Gaming lineup? So UFO Cryo-Chillz stuff you can actually use with aluminum. He's tested it. Daniel, the guy who makes this stuff. Oh yeah, this one comes out like this. He's tested with aluminum parts and it works. So as far as that goes, you're just fine. I think View is supposed to work with 3D coolants, though I'm not 100% sure. We don't even sell View, so I would honestly like get on Primo Chill's Discord or their Facebook. Oh, that's got some liquid in it still. And ask them if you were planning on trying out View for your aluminum loop. However, I do know that this stuff, the UFO Cryo-Chillz won't like ruin your components by any means. Whether or not it falls out on you, that just kind of comes down to how well you prep the loop, how well your loop's set up, and all that jazz. So this guy is really close, actually. There we go. So there is liquid still right there even. So I kind of had a feeling this was going to be a mess to take apart, but that should hopefully be solved for future cleanings like this when I get these ball valves wired correctly so they don't leave half the loop cut off and still filled. This guy's going to do this too. Wonderful. Okay, so we're getting there. I'm trying to get back to the pump because, I guess I can take the CPU block out now. We'll get to the pump after this. I'll show you guys what the inside of the CPU block looks like, because that'll definitely have to be cleaned, just for future testing any coolants. I don't know exactly what I'll be running after this. I could test another coolant. I just am kind of afraid to waste it, in a sense. I kind of wasted the white stuff, although I had a feeling this would happen anyways. So it's kind of why I went with it. But the loop obviously isn't like finished yet, and the whole bench isn't even technically finished yet. So the loop is still gonna have to like come apart again one of these days, just in order to finish it up. So I think testing a coolant right now just really isn't fair, because it's not going to get the long-term test that some coolants really kind of need. But we'll see. I might just throw in some red until I know for a fact that this thing is done and it's going to be, you know, just running normally for a while. So let's see if I should move this stuff a little bit here. And I can get this camera over here. We can get this camera like that. Oh, except for the little camera for the other window is perfectly covering it up. So, there's some particles in these fittings as well. Just around the inner edge there, you can see them a little bit. So we'll get those cleaned up after this. And we still actually got some liquid in here. So, dump that out. And let's take this bad boy apart and see what we're really dealing with as far as buildup goes. So I can show you right now, like, there's definitely some particles stuck in there. So it may make a little bit of a difference to your performance, although I really don't think there's enough to make it noticeable, or too noticeable of a difference. Here, I'll show you guys before we actually tear it apart. So you can kind of see in there, there's some particles. So we'll get those out. Before I actually start flushing this with distilled and everything, helps if you have the right size Allen wrench. It was worse, so at that point maybe it would have like actually impacted performance, but I would think the little amount that's stuck in there now really wouldn't make too much of a difference to most people. So I actually I made a block cleaning video recently, and I had cleaned this block before I put this stuff in here, so it was definitely perfectly clean before I started this test. So as far as that goes, it's a legit test for the block, I guess. And this block could just straight up be worse than others for 3D coolants. I actually don't know like the specs of the fin size or anything like that, and I'm thinking the blocks with more thin fins and like more restrictive flow are definitely going to be worse for 3D coolants like this, just because it gives it more opportunity to have a low flow area and start having things get clogged up with particles. So yeah, there's the cold plate, and you can see there's some gunk. There's definitely some gunk. It's not bad, but definitely want it cleaned out. So all I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to use this little glass that we're using for the fittings. I'm just going to put like a drop. That's probably way more than enough dish soap. And then we're going to put some distilled water in here. We'll clean the fittings at the same time. And we're going to whip out the handy dandy toothbrush for this guy. Just going to mix this stuff up. And this should definitely work. Yeah, all the gunk just comes like right out, and the block is honestly already clean again. I expected that, but seeing that stuff in there does worry some people quite a bit. So showing you guys that it's not too terrible at all is kind of what I'm after tonight. What's everybody else up to in Discord? Crickets. Oh, I don't have your volume up probably enough. That's why. I've basically had you guys like muted this whole time. Sorry, people in Discord. I can hear you now, I think.
I think it depends like here.
No, I messed with my Discord audio settings and changed the volumes so people are super quiet now. Thanks for stopping in, Roger. Appreciate it, man. What the heck, Rob? That's not even. What's bad then? As far as a block goes, like actually seeing it totally caked in there and actually so bad so that you'd have to like take out your X-Acto knife and then start like going through the fins, which you can do to clean out any gunk that you have in there, but there's nothing in this block as far as actually stuff being stuck. So that would be bad. This, in my opinion, was not that bad.
I mean, what? I'm not doing that. I just have jittery hands.
So we're gonna take out the O-ring too.
When I built my full tower, I had no issue except for doing the front panel things.
The front panel things?
Doing the connectors for the power switch, the lighting.
Oh yeah.
I have very large hands. I'm still trying to find a thing to do something.
Yeah, I have long fingers. That's my problem. I like the G502. That usually works out pretty well for me.
Length is good, it's too narrow.
Yeah, see, I could see that. Like I said, I have long fingers. Like my hands aren't huge, but I have long fingers. So I need a long mouse. It doesn't necessarily have to be wide, though.
I found the perfect one for me, but bloody trackball.
Oh gosh, yeah. I can't do trackballs.
Look up the Logitech Ergo.
Ooh. So you can actually see the stuff on the top of the block right there. Like I don't know if the camera picks up, but it like shimmers. So like that's the effect getting stuck.
I mean, from what Dan was showing on his Facebook page, it's gonna leave some sparks behind.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, and someone had commented immediately yesterday when I posted the pic of the block when it was actually worse than this. I said I was going to be cleaning it out just to show you guys what happens or what to do when this does happen. And somebody immediately comments on Facebook, yeah, don't buy UFO. And I was like, no, like that's not at all what I'm going after here. One, I'm not like even stating brands. And two, the brand really doesn't have anything to do with it. And I had fully expected this to happen when I had put it in.
Happen with anything that has particles and stuff.
Yeah, you're gonna get it. I just knew that this reservoir would totally screw it. Because it did it in the last system that I had a custom reservoir in when I was using his 3D coolant. Dan does want to... I still have to make him... I don't know where he is tonight. I wonder if he's just busy or something. But Dan wants to work with me on making a coolant or a 3D coolant that works better with these reservoirs. I'm going to make him a reservoir. Or I'm going to at least design it, and then I'll put it together once we get it cut out. But that way he can use it to test coolants and maybe get a formula that works better for things like this. Because I have a feeling that this kind of relates to distribution blocks and whatnot, and how those all end up working out with 3D coolants. Although I've seen a lot of systems with distribution blocks have just fine time with 3D coolant, even his, but I don't know.
It seems like 3D coolant has an issue with large, low flow areas.
Yep, no, that's just, well, especially Daniels. UFO or View, I mean, it's supposedly meant for like low flow, and like you can't even run it more than 8 hours a day usually. And
that would work for mine.
yeah, exactly. Like I run my system 24/7, so like I couldn't even consider that anyways.
Yeah, I usually knock mine in just like if I rarely show it.
But like every time I've seen View, it's been in like low flow scenarios and immediately calls that. Not just
Yeah, I've seen it fail in low flow systems too.
So it's
outside of I get the appeal if you're showing a computer off the muscle.
Yeah.
Like a normal gamer use. If I went liquid, I'd just go clear liquid, clean color of course, but why get all the stuff in it? It has to clean liquid.
No, and that's why I'm throwing it in like a test loop like this, and that's why I have tested it in just a mock loop before. I won't put this in my rig. I wouldn't put any 3D coolant in my personal rig. One, I need it for work, and two, I just don't want it to be down when I want to just chill and not use it for work.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
I don't trust any 3D coolant really.
You're gonna be staring at your monitors back in the piece.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'll just go for a not just a regular light strip. Now that most of them on the address.
yeah, I like Cable Mod's hybrid strips.
Yeah.
Those end up working really nice.
I'm just trying to get them actually working on getting them. Well, I do sales. Up till recently, I was paid on a point structure for my sales chats for CBW. Which
Oh, yeah.
They paid for the computer bill, but I got about 300 points or so, $300 worth of points. I'm trying to figure out what to do an order. I tend to do group orders just easier to keep track of stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They round up. The way it is it's 12,500 points per $50. But you got to, they round it up to whatever and then post it to the highest level is.
Yeah.
Unless you use up that whole amount, you're losing money. Now I'm just trying to figure out what I can order. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to get a DAC amp or a sound.
I need to improve my audio game one of these days too. That's definitely on my list. So let's see.
I mean, I've been using a pair of Audio Technica N40Xs.
Yeah, those are good.
But and I've got I'm running the Asus C17 Top 1, which is excellent for it. I'm loving it. But it just picks up between that and my 1080 and my Wi-Fi adapter, which maybe I have to save it sometimes since I redid the network setup in my house. But it just picks up too much interference. But I want a pair of you're familiar with the Blue microphones, right, Matt?
With what?
Blue brand microphones.
Yeah.
Snowball.
Yep.
Stuff like that. They also do headphone bass. You also do headphones.
Yeah.
And have you ever taken part in the St. Jude's Let's Play Live events?
I haven't actually taken part in any of them, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, did support for Alienware stream last year. Raised $100, and that was just me getting into doing some live streaming. I barely started out there.
Yeah.
I won out of Alienware. I won a $100 set of Blue Days.
Damn.
Unfortunately, yeah. Hang on a second.
Okay, so there's one ball valve out. And these I definitely plan on like flushing out as well.
Kind of a normal shut
Because there's still coolant in them. Well, not in them anymore. But
yeah.
there's definitely going to be probably a little bit of particle whatnot in there. So we'll get that cleaned out.
Only the issue, I mean, the blue tape that I had hooked up to the back panel of my tower, I could listen at 2%. I couldn't hear a damn thing.
Oh man.
But
Yeah, that's
the thing
rough.
is, they have it built in the amp, which makes it sound a huge amount better.
Yeah.
It's made with a laptop or mobile devices. It takes up every little bit of EMI. You can't
For
do
sure.
playing games right now because I mean, right now I can use a cheap HyperX sound adapter piece. They use a lot of quality, but you get a constant. I'm just trying to play it. Which 3 has amazing sound, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I was trying to play that. I was testing it with that. GameStop made it. You had a massive background on film, and I've got a really sensitive ears.
This tube does
Yeah,
not
I
want
know
to
the
come out.
feeling. I have that issue with my
Oh my, that was way too hard.
I have no idea when it comes to audio.
So,
I mean,
the pump is up.
I just yeah, no, that pump, that's out.
Yeah, dude, that tube did not want to come out at all.
Yeah, no, you have no question there. It's got to be said.
It was in there pretty. I was worried it was a little bit loose, but it wasn't loose at all by the looks of it. This fitting isn't loose either.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay, so let's get this pump top off because it does actually. I think you can see it. You can see some buildup right around the outer edge of the pump right there. So it definitely builds up in your pump top too, and I figured that would have happened. just by the looks of the block.
What pump is that?
It's a EK D5, and just with their regular D5 top. I think I'm gonna get another just plain D5 top like this one. That's not the right size. Just because it works out decently well once I get it actually mounted properly. It wasn't, as you could see, it was still loose in there. It was actually sitting there at an angle. The tube was pushing it down. But this pump top is pretty inexpensive, and with the stock mount like this, it doesn't actually work too bad at all. For like, I think it's like 45 bucks in total. So probably get another one, but I'm gonna swap out this D5, and in the other pump top I'll put in a Aquastream D5. Just so I can connect them up to the Aquaro and have fun that way. This guy's actually a PWM version, but if you can tell, there's only Molex coming out of it, because the PWM actually got burned out. So, yep. It's a good test loop pump, because it just runs at 100% all the time, so.
Yeah, I'm still running a combination of 3 player.
Fair enough. I actually have these fans on here the wrong way. I don't know how I derped and did that, but they're definitely supposed to be pulling air into the system, and then it'll exhaust out the back. But those are pushing air out.
Nice little air indicator.
It's what?
Quick nocturnal 40. The exact one I got out of my intake.
Come
and
on.
I've got 2 Pantex 140s and a Pantex 200 for exhaust.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, right now, because number of gallons, power parts, and CPU temps at in the mid upper 30s, and it's fairly quiet. CPU's running at about 20 CPU fan, and it's a Cryo H5 Ultimate.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. There we go, boys and girls.
Place right now, or just a little up for there's a 40 millimeter.
So you can see all the gunk.
Oh. How's it going, man? I haven't seen you in a bit.
What's up, dude?
I gave you a shout out today on DPS Customs. I name dropped you.
No way, I appreciate that.
Adding handles to mods and stuff. And I'm like, well, I know you can get your handles, Joe.
Yeah, dude, we should have some handles somewhere in the store if you can search through all the other crap.
Yeah, I told them that you actually sell them to LEDs on top of it because everybody on that channel loves RGB.
Fair enough, can't blame them. So how you doing tonight?
All right, hanging loose. Just wanted to see what was going down.
Yeah,
I want to
just,
get your opinion on something.
Sure.
Cryo-Chillz just came out and said, hey, our 3D view product, do not use it in machines that run longer than 8 hours.
yep.
What's your takeaway on this?
So, like, I don't know. At first, that was, like, never stated. So I guess my only issue with that whole claim, I guess, is the fact that a whole bunch of people pre-ordered it, I know, and that wasn't something that anybody talked about, at least from Primo Chill that I saw.
That's a major thing that should have
Yeah, so the only issue I have with that is that they should have told people that right away.
What is that from? Like thermal breakdown? Is it falling out? I mean, because like J2 Sense ran it in his machine, and he said his water block, or on his GPUs rather, actually came out cleaner and was cleaning the block.
Yeah, so that one specifically, I think had to do something with the blue color. I talked to Elliot Shiver actually. I had some friends talk to him about it too, and apparently in the blue coloring, they actually part of the dye is actually a metal cleaner for blue specifically. So I think that's where that could have come from. However, the whole thing with it falling out or having issues if you run it longer than 8 hours, Sterling would definitely be the guy to actually get like the real explanation. I'm not sure if I'm saying it wrong here or not, but he had something to say about like the effect has like some sort of a lifetime, like it needs time to like regenerate or of some sort. Like I'm sure I'm butchering the explanation on this, but he just said it has to do with the fact that like, so this UFO stuff, as you can see here, it's a mica based coolant. Like the mica is all over this crap.
Yeah,
View is not the same.
Yeah, the last one that you had up there where you were using like the red, the UV red.
Yep.
I thought that was really cool shit. I like the fact that it was transparent enough where you kind of see behind it.
Yep.
what you can't do with the View. The View is more viscous, it seems.
Yeah, I haven't actually worked with View yet. Like, we don't even sell it. Like, they don't even have it in any reseller stores, I don't believe. And I just haven't even had the time to like test it myself. I have like 3 other bottles of coolant sitting right here I have to test from UFO. So like I just purely don't have time to test all these coolants yet. But I'm not sure what the best scenarios are for View. But I know it does work out for some people, and UFO works out for others, and people just need to get along, I think.
Just depends on the person, depends on whether you're gonna have it. I mean, if I were to take a shot at the dark, I'm guessing when you refer to regenerative means like there's some sort of, I guess, buildup on the particles themselves that has to come back.
Yeah, see, that's got to be it. Some with the particles reacting with the coolant, and it breaks down over time to a certain degree.
It's not really breaks down, it stops.
Yeah, it stops.
Separating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but you would say, I would think what was it, more so under load, right? This is not just leaving your machine on for 8 hours idle. You know,
I'm pretty sure it's just idle. It's the fact that the coolant's moving.
yeah.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not probably the person to even like quote anything about View, but just from what I've seen online and what like Elliot has told me, as far as I know, you're really only supposed to run the system with the pump on for like 8 hours a day. If you could get away with like just running off convection and shutting off your pump for 16 hours a day, you might be in the clear. However, I don't really.
Aquarium pump timer, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, in my dad's system, I actually had the D5 die, and that system ran just fine, like running Chrome every day, without a pump.
I mean,
like the fan still worked.
Thermals on its own without the pump, right?
Yeah, it was actually fine. It was idling, like the CPU was idling in like the 30s with the ambient, around like the low 20s, 25 maybe. So it was performing just fine, to be honest. I never actually like put the CPU under load or like tried to benchmark it or anything like that because I knew the pump was dead. Yeah, not the best idea. You'll just eventually thermal soak the liquid that you have in there, and then you're done ski.
Yeah, because like fluid limited didn't work. That's what we're seeing.
Yeah, I don't. My ambient in my room lately, it's been like 30 degrees outside, like during the day. And the heat still comes on, so it's been so freaking hot in my room, and it's actually really hot right now.
Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Fahrenheit outside. In my room, it's like 26 degrees Celsius right now, which is like gotta be. I'm in northern Minnesota in Bemidji. Ugh. Yeah, usually it's really cold.
Daytona.
Daytona, yeah, it's a little bit warmer.
And right now it's. I usually we usually have our house running around 70 or something.
Oh, jeez. No,
Oh yeah.
that'd kill me, man. My ambient in my bedroom's like 54 degrees.
Oh my god, dude. No, I like low 70s is just fine for me. This,
Right
I
now,
think,
here in Daytona, weather channel is 50.
I think
I live in
26 is.
Massachusetts. We're prepping for our third nor'easter, and we're waiting for a fourth to come in. So
Yeah, dude, we've been getting a lot of snow lately. You guys probably get the same shit we do, like just a week later. We've gotten, in the past few weeks, we've gotten like 2 feet of snow.
Yeah, no, that's what I got here in Pennsylvania, near First Philly.
Jeez.
Fun stuff. I saw the government has this program for tech students, the recent grads. Like, yeah, that seems like saying there yeah, the opening is in West Virginia.
Langley, that sounds like Langley right there, man. You end up working for an alphabet company.
An alphabet company.
I just don't want to be for wow. I mean, I may have been out 4 ounces like DC, but I'm already. I'm comfortable when it is the 40s. Anything below that.
Dude, we've got people running around with shorts out where I live right now. It's 50, it hit like 67 degrees out, and people are wearing shorts and t-shirts.
Oh, I'm wearing shorts and t-shirts right now. Just can't go outside.
Yeah, anything below 50, I'm not doing.
Okie doke. So I got like a vast majority of the loop taken apart now. And I'm just going to be taking the time over, I think the rest of my fittings will be here tomorrow. So hopefully by then I can have all the fittings that I'm reusing cleaned up, and I can actually get this loop finished as far as like the actual components for the loop go. I still need a CPU and RAM and everything like that, but I should have all the correct fittings after tomorrow. So, how long have we been even doing this stuff for? Sorry about chat, didn't say don't buy it. I said don't buy it if you don't want problems. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was trying to get off, or at least the point I was going to try to get across to people is if you don't ever want to put in the time for your loop to like actually do the maintenance if something goes wrong, then just don't even mess with 3D coolants at all. Because if you just like are one of those people that is just going to start blaming other things than just, you know, shit happens, then it's just going to be a bad time for you. You're not going to have fun water cooling, and as I said at the beginning, that's kind of what I'm after here for everybody, is just to have a good time water cooling. And if you don't like doing this kind of crap, then don't get 3D cooling. Because I can't tell you it won't happen to you. Such a this case is ginormous, dude. Like, it's actually what?
That's the case we saw you build, right?
Yeah, this is like the aluminum frame that I've bent. The bottom I actually had cut out of 5mm at PPC's. But yeah, overall I've designed and either had it cut at PPC's or I cut it apart here. And it's a work in progress, obviously, but it's like 22 inches long, I think, by like 20 inches wide or so, and like
it doesn't have to look pretty; it just has to do the job.
No, it doesn't look pretty at all yet.
I'm more performance over looks. I just prefer working with big ass cases. I mean, at times I've got an infinite looks. Well, that thing felt small at times. That thing's freaking huge. Yeah, well.
Yeah, I've cut my knuckles open a couple times in small cases. So I'm good with that too. My big fat hands.
Yeah, like overall, this case does take up a lot of area, but like I kind of designed it for the stuff that's in here, like these awkward 240 by 60 rads.
It's kind of sad though that I actually I find it easier to work on a high-end laptop and screws and everything on those than I do on these older stuff.
That's true, yeah. Let's see. Hey man, good to see you again. I gave it. Oh, this is you. I'm just catching up with chat right now. Bias streamer. Screw you, Rob. You don't even know what View is. Would using a filter like the one Aqua Computer makes? No, I wouldn't. With View, I'm not sure, but I definitely wouldn't use a filter with UFO stuff. Like you saw with the block, like it just catches it. And that filter would be clogged in like days, if not hours. So, no, I don't even really recommend putting a filter in just a regular loop, even if you weren't using 3D stuff. Just I mean, I guess Aqua Computers makes the most sense for that because like it has valves on it, so you can shut it off and you can close off the filter from your flow. So it's easy to clean out actually without like having to take apart your loop at all. But yeah, just overall, if you use it while you're flushing the system, that's what I've seen most people get filters for. Like you either add it in while you're flushing it or just use it when you get your rad at first and then start flushing that. They're kind of helpful because then they just kind of grab all the particles and you know for a fact that you don't have them like floating around in there somewhere. Flashy coolant isn't for beginners. Yeah, exactly, Calf. Like that is basically what I'm trying to get across to people. I'm not like saying any beginner can't do it. Just like when I first started water cooling, a lot of people were like, you know, beginners just never do hardline, and I started using hardline for my first loop. Don't listen to what people tell you can't do. Except for the police, they can tell you what not to do. But
against the wall.
Yeah, do that. But as far as other people go, if you're a first-time water cooler and you really just are already falling into water cooling and you just love it, and you're going to start with hardline, you're going to start with 3D coolant, then go for it. I mean, I really don't care. If you have issues, just be prepared to keep putting more time in. Some people like to build a loop and Yeah, like, I mean, I love water cooling too, but even how I said it, like, I don't want to put 3D coolant in my loop just because, like, I'm messing with this stuff all day and whatever else I do online for social media wise, but I'm like messing with this stuff already. I don't want for my downtime to be me messing with my rig. I mean, maybe some weekends out of the year there'll be time when I'm just like, oh, this week I'm gonna work on my rig and we're gonna change the coolant out or something. And I actually plan on doing that soon, within the next month or two here, hopefully. I've been running Mayhem's Pastel since July, and it's holding up just fine. But I've never cleaned that monoblock, and that's actually, now it's been probably like 13 months. So that guy's due for a cleaning. Yeah. I can see like a couple particles in there. Like temperatures haven't changed like at all as far as I know. I'm actually going to run a bunch of performance tests to actually see what flushing the whole system is like after a year of using it. And just see if it is actually, if your coolant isn't having problems, because mine isn't having problems, but I still want to flush it. And I just want to see if you do get any performance out of it, if I just haven't noticed it losing performance or if it's worth it at all. But
hey Matt, I got a random question for you.
Go for it.
At the end of the year, after all your coolant changes and stuff like that, will you be selling pieces of your white carpeting off?
Dude, I actually could probably get quite a few chunks for you guys that aren't actually white anymore. There's red here from when I did my dad's coolant. And I definitely just rent this place, so I'm going to figure that out. Either I'll just have to cut it out and send it to you guys, or figure out a way to clean it.
I'd say go for it. I mean, people buy stupid stuff all the time.
It'd be a good fundraiser.
Yeah, good fundraiser. Chunks of carpet. That's true. It's better than the dress idea Hank had. He's not actually around tonight, surprisingly enough. Drew Leonard said, I think too many people jumped into viewing UFOs thinking it was going to be just like pastel level. Yeah. And I guess I don't really want to comment on either brand specifically, but I think a lot of misinformation has been spread about them, especially at the very beginning of this stuff coming out. I think a lot of people weren't genuine with what you should use this stuff for. And that's the only problem I've had with any 3D coolant, is that the manufacturers aren't always honest about what this coolant does or should do. And that's wrong. But
that's not with any manufacturer.
yeah, like this can happen anywhere, anytime.
You need to sell all the shit now.
It just sucks that with coolant, when something goes wrong, like your PC is literally down for days. I mean, it's not like a block that's known for like springing a leak every time you put it in, and then you're losing your motherboard. But it's still a pain in the ass. So I kind of just wanted to get across tonight that it really isn't that bad. I mean, as you saw here, in an hour, honestly, we've been on stream, and I guess all I really have left that's going to take a lot of time is getting the rad out and flushing that. But overall, like, besides just flushing it and stuff, it's a couple hours of maintenance. Like, you could easily, if you have your coolant fall out, like you're using 3D coolant and it falls out, just expect to spend a day cleaning stuff. Like, it'll take a day to flush it all and take it all apart and clean it out. But after that, it's really not too bad. So if you've ever flushed your system or cleaned it before, it's really not too much worse than that overall. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the initial setup, bending everything.
Yeah, that's true. Like, cleaning out after the fact ain't that bad. It's prepping your loop before that you really want to make sure you do, and that's where a lot of people struggle, it seems, because they'll buy stuff new, and like I've even seen people buy radiators new and be like, I don't need to clean that, it's new. Like, oh man. So that's like the worst. But yeah. But there's just other parts that you want to make sure are clean, even if they are new, like blocks and whatnot. Just like flush them out. Like, at least flush parts out with distilled water. You never know what the manufacturer could have accidentally left behind. I'm not saying any manufacturer leaves crap in their blocks on purpose, but you just never really know.
Asus had a Z170 the snow color one. Came with bent pins in the socket.
Oh, that's really nice. I've bought quite a few Asus boards, and I've never had bent pins out of the box. I've bent some pins, but that was me.
That's what I like about the tough boards. The sockets are a little more durable on mine.
Huh. Interesting.
That's a 5-year warranty on it, so yeah.
That's pretty dope. That's not bad at all.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is for the Mark 1, and it's about $250 for the built-in surge protection. the armor, help keep the heat away from circuit boards. It's got a reinforced PCIe sockets. It works.
Yeah.
And what I like is that the top boards have a dedicated mini processor just for cooling.
Oh, damn. That is pretty nuts.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could. Most systems you gotta manage everything from the BIOS or from a third-party software. Right?
Yeah.
But this, it's the top thermal radar 2 plus. It's actually made for the 270, but the 170 software is a bit more buggy, so it's interchangeable. But I can check and monitor the CPU, the vCore, the DRAM, the PCH4, everything.
That's pretty nuts.
And I can. What's neat, what I like, is I can actually set and control the non-PWM fans. That's really good for me. Because I'm running all the three fan techs I've had, I told you, none of those are PWM, because it's one game stock like case. It's just obnoxious, and you can connect right to the board instead of above.
Not bad. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up tonight, though, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be more on this later in the week. If you saw, I kind of cleaned up the overlay, so there isn't a schedule out there. But either Wednesday or Thursday, I'll keep you guys posted on Facebook and Discord and whatnot. So either Wednesday or Thursday, there'll be another stream. I believe I'll be finishing off these ball valves. I'll be wiring these all proper. And by then, I should have like the rest of the loop all ready to go. So we'll be finishing that out and throwing in some kind of coolant at some point. And we'll just kind of go from there. I've got some more mods planned too that'll be coming this week. So just stay tuned, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. I appreciate everyone stopping in tonight. We still got that giveaway going on for 1,000 members in Discord and 5,000 in Facebook. And I can tell you right now, we need less than 100 for each. So yeah, dude. So that'll be an 8700K and a Supremacy Evo for you guys. So get in our Discord, get in our Facebook group, PPC's Builders Club, if you haven't already, and definitely don't miss that giveaway. That'll be hopefully very soon. I expect it to be at least. So.
Matt, did you see what Martino's Wounded Warrior Project PC went for?
No.
And for 1,700.
Jesus, that's not bad at all.
I saw about a week's worth of being up on eBay.
Dang.
I think he should let it run for longer.
Yeah. Well, boys and girls, thank you everyone for stopping in Discord and everyone else who stopped in for the stream elsewhere. But I'll catch you all next time, and until then, happy modding and have a great night.
You too, man. Always entertaining to watch it, brother.
Thanks, dude.
Take it easy.
Appreciate it. You too.